This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Alongside Jamie Lent, I'm Chois Woodman. Appreciate all the chiming in already on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. There are a few of those thoughts. Someone says, Joey McGuire, Raider Nation, 8-4 Raider Nation. One game at a time might be a roller coaster, but it's a fun ride if you stay positive. You're making history.
It's definitely been a roller coaster. That is for certain.
It is a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
And you are making history. I feel like it's kind of a strong thing to say, making history. You're not winning 10 games or anything. But you are. It would be your first 3 consecutive winning season. I guess you already hit that this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
3 consecutive winning seasons in the Big 12. You've never done that in Big 12 play. I guess last time you did it was Spike Dykes era, 95 to 97, so it did morph into Big 12 play. But so you're just, again, you're doing things. You're not. The main thing is, and where I feel like you're getting back to territory you haven't been, is you're knocking down walls. Feels like you have built bricks up around this football program over the last 15 years of just, and it's been a slow build. Tuberville laid the foundation for where you've been in mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I don't know if it was you that said this, but 7-5 just feels a whole lot different than 8-4. Or I should probably say that the reverse. 8-4 feels a whole lot different than 7-5.
Absolutely, it does.
There's just 7-5 is technically winning, like it's a winning season, but that 8-win mark is different. So again, it will not take away your results that you'll wish for, long for, to go the other direction. The TCU game is probably number 1 on my list. Baylor's probably second on that list. Will not take those results away. But it's still the aesthetics of looking at that snowman instead of the squiggly 7 is different. Someone says every team that does not make the playoff in their season is a failure. Did you see Lane Kiffin's presser after they were eliminated to losing to Florida? I did not see the presser. If you want to get technical, you're probably right. I guess it is a failure. You can define success multiple ways, though. But if the ultimate goal is to get to the college football playoff, then yeah, you're falling.
I think the
short
ultimate goal is to win a championship, right?
Yeah, you're falling. So yeah. I guess you can get
so there's
technical.
only one team that's not going to fail.
Not a failure.
Yeah.
There are goals within a season, though. Like you have ultimate goals, and then you have subcategories. So you're failing. Everyone is failing or falling short of your ultimate goal or a ultimate goal. How do 8 wins help with 2 of those wins that were against, as one Chuck Heinz would say, sisters of the poor, or of the poor cousin? Are you doing Joey and this team any favors scheduling bad teams to pad the schedule and create false illusion for success?
But in every year, in the history of ever, I mean, some non-conference schedules are a little bit tougher than others, but in every year, you're playing games like that in non-conference play. Usually challenge yourself once in non-conference play. And that's every team.
Yep.
It's not just Tech. Don't act like our 2 Patsy wins are the only 2 Patsy wins that anybody in the conference got or anybody in the country got. Everybody has those. And the SEC teams play one more of them.
One more, yep.
One more.
Alabama played something called Chattanooga this year.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not. No one ever knocks them for that.
That's not fair to criticize only us for winning Patsy games.
But,
and yes, one of them was really close. Okay,
sure.
I get it. But, I mean, everybody has those games on their schedule. So, in that case, I mean, I don't know should we criticize Ole Miss for only winning 9 games when they had 2 patsies on their
They had
schedule?
an extra one, yeah.
Yeah, or they had an extra one, right?
How about the way SEC does things? You know who Georgia played Saturday, Jamie? Like this last Saturday. We're not talking the beginning of the season, patsies. Georgia played UMass,
Yeah.
the University of Massachusetts.
You're just looking to be angry if you're only acting like we're the only one that plays a couple patsies.
That's what it is. You're looking to be angry, or you're completely ignorant to how college football scheduling works.
We're not the only ones.
No, not even close. And yes, the SEC.
Yes, they are patsies, and yes, one of them was close. But
and maybe, if you're just frustrated with the system of college football, you don't need to single out Joey McGuire or Texas Tech, because the system you can get mad at if you don't like the patsies. And maybe this Super League that's coming, everybody tells us about, maybe you get away from the patsies. I don't know. Maybe that goes away and everybody plays each other and it's self-contained. But as it sits right now, that's not going away.
And the other part of it is I don't think it's as easy in all sports to get the, I don't think Notre Dame's going to sign up for a home and home with Tech. I don't think LSU is either. Okay, I
would love it, but I think you're right.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Those kind of matchups are few and far between. Getting those schools to come here and play. I mean, I know it's a major problem for Tim Tadlock. They'll host the Red Raiders all day long.
Yep.
In SEC country, but you don't see any of them coming here. Don't you think we don't invite them?
Absolutely we do.
Yeah.
And I like this North Carolina thing. I hope they return the trip next year, but we never know. We don't. Actually, you could probably assume they probably won't. I don't know. They're ACC. SEC are the ones that usually don't return this trip. But yeah,
how many times have we gone to Arkansas in a row without Arkansas coming here in baseball?
3?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how these things work. You don't have a governing body that does this scheduling. And maybe one day we do. One day in college football we do, and that would be much better for everyone, the way they do it in the NFL. Because then you force teams to go certain places, and you get matchups that are attractive that you didn't know would be attractive.
Sure.
And so I'm hoping that happens, but we'll see. It is the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Alongside Jamie Lent, I'm Chois Woodman. Jeff McGuire back behind the glass. You're listening to the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3. Jeff, let's get to this day in sports history.
1940, the 6th Heisman Trophy was awarded. Tom Harmon from Michigan, halfback, is your winner.
Harmon, not Herman.
Correct.
Okay. I knew. Yeah.
1947, Joe DiMaggio wins his 3rd MVP, beating Ted Williams by a single vote.
It's rigged.
1952, only win ever for the NFL Dallas Texans, beating the Chicago Bears 27-23 at the Rubber Bowl in Akron, Ohio.
Rubber Bowl.
The Rubber Bowl. Wait, you say only win ever?
Because they became the Kansas City Chiefs the next year.
Right, so they're only NFL
Dallas
win.
Texans win.
But they won other games in the AFL, right? The Texans did.
The Dallas Texans? I don't think so. Okay. I think they were one season and then moved.
Okay.
1976, Rodney Allison is 10 for 12 and finds Godfrey Turner for 2 touchdowns. And eventual Southwest Championship number 9 Texas Tech wins at Arkansas 30-7.
Only threw 12 passes.
But completed 10 of them, so it's okay. Mm-hmm. Didn't need to throw anymore. 1987, the 52nd Iron Bowl. Auburn beats Alabama 10-0 in Birmingham. 2004, that's correct, 2004. Jared Hicks has 2 second-half touchdown catches, and Texas Tech allows 66 passing yards in a 31-15 upset win of number 23, Oklahoma State. holding a top 25 team to 66 passing yards in a game they lost. That, my friends, is what you call defense. 2010, Taylor Potts throws for 373 yards and 4 touchdowns with 2 scoring strikes to Deidreon Lewis as Texas Tech beats Houston 35-20.
Like that.
I know Choice is a big fan of this. I am also a big fan of the product. The making of it, a little hard. Happy Craft Jerky Day.
Okay.
So make your own jerky kind of thing. Happy birthday. The science guy himself, Bill Nye, turns 70. Caroline Kennedy, 67. Fisher Stevens, 61. Jimmy Rollins, 46. And Nick Van Exel is 53. And on this day, in 1095, so we're going to the Wayback Machine for this one, Pope Urban II makes perhaps the most influential speech of the Middle Ages, giving rise to the Crusades by calling all Christians in Europe to war against the Muslims in order to reclaim the Holy Land with the cry of Deus Vult. No way I got that right. But the translation is, God wills it. At the Council of Clermont in France, at which several hundred clerics and noblemen gathered, Urban delivered a rousing speech summoning rich and poor alike to stop their infighting and embark on a righteous war to help their fellow Christians in the East and take back Jerusalem. Urban degenerated the Muslims, exaggerating stories of their anti-Christian acts, and promised absolution and remission of sins for all who died in the service of Christ. That, this day sports history.
We are out of words of the day. We just ran fresh out. Sorry. But you still, if you didn't get in on the cash, or even if you did win cash, you're still eligible to join us out on December 5th at Two Docks Brewery to come out and have a chance to win $2,500 cash. We've teamed up with Home Zone. We're giving away a total of $10,000. So that means we've already given away $7,500. You can win the final $2,500 out at Two Docks on December 5th. So make sure you come out and join us there. Upon further review, Dallas Texans, there were 2 versions of the Dallas Texans. So yours that you were talking about was in 1952. And they did win one game, went 1-11 that season. They were the NFL's Dallas Texans. In 1960, from 60 to 62, the Dallas Texans that are currently the Kansas City Chiefs were launched. Different entity altogether. And they won the 1962 AFL Championship. And then moved, as soon as they won the championship, to Kansas City. So, there's 2 versions. Who knew?
Who knew?
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Viva73 says, I'm watching you guys on Roku TV. That's a great place to watch. I hope all 3 of you guys have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. I start mine today. My son has his 5 kids and wife, and we'll be here sometime around lunch. They'll go home on Friday to Abilene. They're hosting the Shallow Water football game at Abilene Wiley, as he's there as security. Awesome.
Nice. Glad you're getting to spend some time with the fam.
Shallow Water. We've got all, as far as our area teams, all small schools left. Of course, right here in our building, we'll have the Idalou game. Is Clint's. Where's that game again? Do you remember where they're going for that one?
Against Canadian, I do not remember.
I mean, there's not many places. It's between here and Amarillo, essentially. So it's going to, I can't remember exactly where that's, let's see. Oh, that one is in Canyon. There you go.
Okay.
So Idalou and Canadian, we'll have that game for you on Friday. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff. Our coverage begins at 1:30. That's on Sunny 97.7. Other area games, Wink and Ropes going at it. Ropes Eagles will play against the Wink Wildcats. Tahoka plays Groover. Do you know what's significant about that, Jamie?
I do not.
Our former buddy, Zach Logston. That's the Zach Logston Bowl. He's coaching at Tahoka right now, and they're playing his former high school, Gruber.
Okay.
So that one's at
It's exciting.
Tahoka will play. That one's also in Canyon on Friday night. Shallow Water, as Viva 73 just mentioned, they're playing against Vernon at Hugh Sandifer Stadium in Abilene. And then Post and Sunray are playing against each other on Friday night as well. So several area schools still alive, but all of the bigger ones got knocked out. Man, that friendship game on Friday was it's quite a crazy one. I was hoping they finally broke the dragon curse, but apparently not. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Is there a fifth-year senior running back or something that is threatening like Taj? We can get to replace him possibly. It's from Trevor. And the other one asked, what are the chances that Morton stays for his last year? Very interested. It's funny, Jamie and I were just talking about.
I would think it would be very high chance.
Yeah, I don't think Baron Morton's going to be drafted or drafted anywhere high at all. If he were to leave Texas Tech. So I would guess you're going to see him back. Is that a quarterback competition in the spring? Maybe. I don't even know what that looks like. But as far as the running back goes, I think you've got two really solid freshmen in Jacoby Williams and Cam Dickey. That being said, I think you're still going to go get another running back in the
I
portal.
would think you'd want a veteran, yeah.
Because I don't even know. I don't know how long it's going to take till Cameron Valdez is healthy with his knee issue. So yeah, I think you're going to get a veteran with your two freshmen. It's the morning drive. We'll finally get to the rudest things you can do at Thanksgiving. That's coming up next on Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Happy Hump Day. It's the morning drive on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lent, yours from the First United Bank studio. More than welcome to keep chiming in. If you've got thoughts or comments, questions, whatever you got, bring it all in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line via that Double T 97.3 mobile app. We will continue to read some more of your thoughts, get into more Thanksgiving conversation as we sit here on Thanksgiving Eve. Talk a little Dallas Cowboys as well as the Cowboys. They play a game. One more thought from the chat line before we move on. Someone says South Texas Ambassador Preston says, curious on your guys' thoughts on this, but what's your opinion? But why, in your opinion, in the Joey McGuire era, can you not put it together on both sides for 4 quarters, for both sides of the ball? Think we've gotten to see 2 games where you have. My thoughts are it all goes down to being better on the offensive line and defensive line.
Man, it's, you've heard it a million times when you're talking football. Like, it all starts up front, right?
Win the game in the trenches.
Yeah, and last year you were a solid defense and you were good in the trenches on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
This year you're a bad defense and you're not good and at the line of scrimmage. And so I do feel like the texter is making a good point and feeling like part of our big problem here, and I think it has to do with your consistency on offense too, is you're not good at the point of attack. Those are the 2 biggest weaknesses as far as I'm concerned on your team, your offensive line, your defensive line. Maybe you could argue your secondary, but I would go O-line and D-line. And, I mean, that's where it starts, right? If you're not solid there, it makes it really difficult to be really good in other areas.
Jamie, I would even say that you've upgraded so much in skill position from last year that I think your skill position has carried you to victories at times this year. Mm-hmm. Last year you won some games because of your defense. Last year you won some games. You can point to different things, but you look at a lot of your wins this year and you can point to Taj Brooks and you can point to your receiver play and your offense in general, not every game that you've won, but because your defense has been very porous, and you've overcome not being good in the trenches. You can be an okay team being good on one side, like last year. The defensive line was good.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the trenches and you're not good on either side.
Nope.
I mean, again, the defensive line I give a little bit of leeway to because you look at that injury list and see how many names out for the season are on your defensive line and either pass rush or interior linemen. It's a stack of guys at this point. So I give them a little bit of leeway there, but the offensive line I think is worse than it was a season ago as a unit. I think you may have better individuals, but as a whole unit, it felt like you could at least get better run blocking last year. And maybe you are a better pass blocking unit than you were a season ago. I wouldn't, maybe a little bit. But last year, when you needed to go get 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, it felt like you could most of the time.
Right.
This year, in those situations, if you're trying to go heavy and go 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 up the middle, there's almost no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, teams are penetrating like crazy and getting Taj Brooks down in the backfield, and that hardly ever happened last year. So as far as the consistency goes, I mean, how many teams actually feel like they put together games for 4 quarters in a season?
Yeah, the coaching staff would probably tell you they only do it once or twice a year where they feel like we really played well in all 4 quarters of the game. The thing that, I mean, to me, it's been your offense that's been frustrating been so dominant at times in a quarter or two, and then in the same game be so average, really can't get anything going for quarters or two in the same game. You'll see really good offense and then really pedestrian offense in one game. There's where there's inconsistency there. I don't feel like the defense has been this is going to sound not mean, but I don't think they've been inconsistent. They've been average to poor for all of the season. There hasn't been these high swings. I mean, your offense has shown you really good stuff at times, but then they've, again, been very average at times, but defense has just been rough all the way through.
I think part of the problem with the defense is when you're not facing an explosive team, you've looked okay. The defense, like Iowa State, you looked pretty good on the defensive side of the ball in that game.
Arizona,
and they have big playability, but really one guy, and you did a fairly good job of keeping him bottled up.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have teams that have more than one skill player that can go make a big play, that's where it seems like it's really blown up on Texas Tech. TCU, Baylor, Oklahoma State, those games where there are multiple guys on offense that can go make a big play for you. That's where Texas Tech has really struggled. So, I don't think your defense has been atrocious every single play of the season, and you're not saying that. But it's been the big plays that have really inflated and killed you on the defensive side. So, and I agree with you on the offensive side. It's been the second and third quarter lulls. It hadn't been the second quarter of every game or the third quarter of every game, but it feels like almost every game you've had one or the other, or sometimes both, where you just hit a brick wall.
Yeah,
and you're just in a stalemate for getting some offense going. But first quarter, fast starts have not been a problem for this team.
No, they've been a strength.
Yeah, a really good team at putting some points on the board in the first quarter. But yeah, I've said this before, and I truly do believe it. I'd tell you 80% of the coaches in the country, and that may be on the conservative side, are frustrated with their teams because of inconsistencies. I mean, at least 80% of the coaches out there, their teams are very inconsistent. The most consistent teams are the ones they'll be playing in the college football playoff. That's just how it works. I mean, and hopefully that's something you grow into as a program over coming years, is being more consistent team. But we'll see. Central Texas Hank says, good morning, guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Right back at you. Something you got a chance to do, I mentioned this last week, because you did it last week. Going into the Oklahoma State game, Jamie, Tech was down 1 game in the all-time series. Now you're tied up.
Nice.
24-24 to a few tied games in there. Tech is 6-7 against West Virginia all time.
So we're down 1.
So down 1, you can tie this series back up. When you compare the two teams all time, very similar programs. They've played football a lot longer, but Tech's played in 41 bowl games. West Virginia's played in 40. 0 national championships for both. Neither have ever had a Heisman winner. Neither team has ever been ranked number 1 in the AP poll. I was kind of surprised about West Virginia never, reaching that spot. But so yeah, two very similar programs meeting up on Saturday. We'll get into the actual game part of it, how they compare on paper, coming up a little bit later. Jamie's question of the day coming up next, though. It is the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, we're a day out from Thanksgiving.
We are that.
This one's going to be funky. Get ready.
Aren't they all?
No. The answers are sometimes funky.
Oh,
but
okay.
no, the questions are usually not that funky.
Fair enough.
This one is funky.
Sorry.
All right.
Let's see what was in your package over there.
Okay. So my question for you guys today, being a day away from Thanksgiving, 5 items that are on your plate.
Ooh.
Okay? I want... No. This is not... Just slow down. I want a Red Raider football player, okay, to symbolize those 5 items. Who is the what?
Gosh.
Who is the turkey? Who is the mashed potatoes? Who is...
That is funky.
All right?
I love it.
Okay.
Right.
Like the importance, so it's like the importance of each to
what
the Red
if I
Raider
don't count the
football.
turkey as the most important? I know Jeff will, but are we just going traditional here?
Yeah, I would stick traditional.
Okay, we'll stick
Do you
traditional.
want me to just pick the items? Does that work?
Yeah, that'll help.
Okay.
You give us the
I'll
5
pick
items.
the 5 items are turkey,
Okay,
mashed potatoes.
got it.
Okay, we're gonna go rolls.
Important.
Okay, we are gonna go green bean casserole. Okay. And I'm not gonna put macaroni and cheese in there because I don't think that's traditional. But that's for me.
We're not going to have a dessert?
Yeah, and we're gonna have pie.
Pie.
Okay.
Pie. All right. Man. I guess I'm going to go. I think there's the answer has to be Taj Brooks at the turkey.
Taj is the turkey.
Taj is our turkey here.
Taj.
He's the most important player to you, because I think you are losing some more football games without him this year. I mean, and we saw the one game without him, and you looked pretty rough offensively. That scares me for next year, but we're not there yet. Okay, so Taj is the turkey. The next one was mashed taters. Is that in order of importance? Is that where we're going?
You can put them in order in the order you want.
Okay, so mashed potatoes I'm going to put as Jacob Rodriguez. I think it's a very important dish. It doesn't feel very complete for your Thanksgiving without the mashed potatoes, but I think Jacob Rodriguez might be your second most important player on the team. Unfortunately, the defense has been mashed around quite a bit this year, but I fear what it would look like without him too, because he has bailed you out at times and gotten some huge key plays for your defense. It hadn't been perfect, but so we got Taj at the turkey, Jacob at the mash. I'm taking way too long on this. Jeff, you take over. Give yours, because I'm still mulling over a few of these.
I think your pie is Gino Garcia, because for something that we were very worried about at the beginning of the season of your kicking game, he's missed one kick. And the thing about pie, you're like, okay, is there going to be enough pie? And then you get your one pie.
Yeah,
it's you, and depending on where you go, someone might make it specifically for you. It might be the one thing you look forward to at the end of it all. But at the end of the day, something we were very worried about, you were taken care of. Completely taken care of in your kicking game, mainly because of Gino.
Yeah, guys, we kind of whiffed. We have to have stuffing in there.
Well, you said rolls, and I'm going to think of stuffing / rolls.
Okay.
Because it's your carb.
For me, I'm going to go, the next one would be the green bean casserole is Baron Morton.
Okay.
Because not all green bean casseroles are made equally. Some are good. Some are way too mushy. You don't have enough of the onion strings on top and all that. And some, I think Baron Morton has been inconsistent. Sometimes you get a great version of the green bean casserole, and sometimes you get a very average version. It's hard to screw it up, but there's some that are made better than others, obviously. So that's where I put Baron. He's been inconsistent this year. I like the Gino Garcia as the kicker, because it's kind of been the
forgotten part that we forget at times what happens when you have a bad kicker, and it's because you've had a good one like the last 5 years.
Right, and a bad dessert can ruin the whole Thanksgiving if you don't have something good there. And I feel like I can't. I mean, Josh Kelly has been the butter on the roll this year. I mean, he's been everything you've been wanting at a receiver for the last handful of years. So Josh Kelly's been really, really good for you, and kind of that pleasant surprise. I don't always think of the rolls, like I'm not going after the rolls for Thanksgiving, but you can't have a plate without it. So that's where I'd go. But
see, you would not survive in my house. You would not get any rolls. Those are one of the first things we go after.
Obviously, Taj is the turkey to me. I think Baron is the dressings / rolls.
Okay.
Because I think, to me, that's the second most important thing for me at Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, and I think he's that. I think Jacob Rodriguez is the green bean casserole, because I think it's badly underrated. It kind of gets forgotten.
Fair enough.
Okay, it's really good. And so I think that's the importance of Jacob Rodriguez to this team. Despite the fact that your defense has been not great, Jacob has been terrific.
He has.
So I would put him in there. I think Josh Kelly is the mashed potatoes to me.
Okay.
Yeah, with some gravy on there. And I'm going to agree with Jeff on Gino.
Gino's the perfect dessert. For dessert.
Yeah. I don't agree with you on saying that you can ruin Thanksgiving if the dessert is bad. I think
no,
I think you can survive.
Well, I mean, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth at the end. So if you got a bad kicker, it's leaving a bad taste. Like, oh man, we got that touch. We missed an extra point.
Me personally, I'm not a right after Thanksgiving meal, let's have some dessert guy.
Oh my gosh.
No. He's right.
You gotta let
it
settle for a while.
Oh no,
you gotta have the nap first.
No, you have your second dessert after nap. You guys are doing it wrong. Come on, second or third dessert after the nap. After
you wake up and have pie.
After the Cowboys have put you to sleep and you've gone into your food coma.
Oh, food coma.
Come on.
Food coma.
No dressing, you a commie?
Yeah, no, I forgot that. I didn't see that on the chat line. I just remembered
picked it up either. Yeah,
it's to me, it's my favorite thing on the Thanksgiving table.
It's the Boom 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 next on the Morning Drive.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
The Morning Drive on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Is this a hump day, or is this the littlest of little Fridays?
It's still a hump day. Someone's got to work tomorrow.
That was yesterday, though.
What?
Like yesterday was the middle of the week hump. Because of, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no one's working Thursday, and
But someone's got to work Thursday. That we're not everybody's off.
right, that's just me for this building.
Okay.
There's nobody going to be here tomorrow.
Okay. I guess
And
so.
there's going to be like a third of the staff here on Friday.
That's still a hump day. I mean, Wednesday's got the name.
I
Either
would
way.
also tell you that, if you want to get deep into it, we all have to work a full day on Saturday.
We do, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it could still be a hump day. Y'all interpret it however you want. It is Morning Drive. He's Jamie. I'm Chois. Jeff McGuire across the way. Y'all keep the thoughts coming in. We appreciate all of them on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through the 100.7 The Score mobile app. We'll get back to a couple of those, but as I mentioned, Jamie, I got a beef to cook. It's not. I mean, we're the day before Thanksgiving. Festivus isn't for another month almost, but I got some grievances to air, and it has to do with Taj Brooks not being named a finalist for the Doak Walker Award. Now, I remember being fairly upset when Jason Morrow wasn't named a finalist for I don't think he even made the list for the Mackey Award because he didn't put his hand in the dirt enough, was the explanation we were told. I almost wonder if Tech knew this was coming because we saw I think it was in the post-game press conference in Stillwater, Coach McGuire basically making a push, just talking about how Taj should be a finalist for the Doak Walker Award. And he does not make that list. The three guys instead of Taj Brooks that are on that list, one, I say absolutely. The other two, I say, are you kidding? Ashton Genty, Boise State. Seems pretty understandable. He's on pace for one of the best seasons we've ever seen for a running back in college football, and he should win the award. I'm not so biased that I say that he shouldn't win the award. Then there's Omarion Hampton of North Carolina. Pretty good running back. And Caleb Johnson of Iowa. Also, pretty good running back. They both have more yardage than Taj Brooks. And I think
Johnson has way more touchdowns.
More touchdowns, too.
A third more touchdowns.
Caleb Johnson, I think you can make a pretty good case for being on that list. Marion Hampton, no. Here's why. I think these guys being the award is purely looking at yardage on this stuff. I think that's what it's coming down to.
4 less carries for Hampton and 158 more yards. He's got the same number of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. I also think you got one less game in there, too.
Correct, but I
know you're going by carries and
when you're picking an MVP or you're picking a first team all whatever, if a guy didn't play for a certain amount of games so his numbers aren't as good, that it's factored in. That's just, you just look at the numbers.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels like, I was shocked to find out that Taj didn't make the list. So I just Googled it here and looked up. Those guys higher yards per carry than Taj.
Mm-hmm.
More touchdowns when it comes to Johnson. I think Taj Brooks is terrific. And I think he's been everything you wanted this year for the Red Raiders and more. But, if you're just looking at the numbers, those guys' numbers are better. I hate it. I'm also surprised.
Do we let I mean, this is supposed to be a single season award. Supposed to. Mm-hmm. But how many awards do we see where they factor in previous achievements and those sorts of things?
Yeah, I don't know.
So should Taj Brooks being the 4th all-time leading rusher in the Big 12 factor in? One thing that should and won't and doesn't is the fact that there are 2 running backs in the country that have gone over 100 yards in every single game they played.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Taj Brooks and Ashton Jeanty. 2 of them.
Yeah.
So consistency, I get it. There are more than just arguments for these guys.
I mean, let's be honest. If we're making an argument for somebody in the Big 12, R.J. Harvey is 4th in rushing yards on the season. Taj Brooks is 6th.
Nationally, yeah.
Yeah, nationally. He's got 51 less carries and more than 100 more yards. He's at 6.9 yards per carry. Taj is at 5 yards per carry. He's got 21 touchdowns. Taj is 14. I mean, if you're making a case for a Big 12 running back, it seems like it has to be Harvey.
Why are you smushing my argument, Jamie? I'm just mad because
I was shocked when you told me Taj wasn't on the list.
There are, to be honest, there are probably 7 to 8 guys nationally that are worthy of being in this conversation.
And I would put Cam Scattaboo in there too.
Oh, he's worthy too.
Beast.
You had 4 guys in the Big 12 that were finalists, and none of them, or semifinalists, made the top 10.
Giddens is really good. He's way up there as well.
Yeah. So, it is a beef, but if I'm taking off my my biased Texas Tech scarlet and black glasses, I can't cook too much of a beef here because there are arguments for all of them, including Taj Brooks.
I wonder if in years past it's been the top 3 rushers as well, like it is this year.
I would guess most are, and I do think that's probably what they factor in. Mm-hmm. Is, hey, let's look at the guys with the most yardage, and maybe that's the tiebreaker too, Jamie, is when you've got this many guys that are close together. Say, okay, well, we got all these guys that are worthy candidates. Let's go with the top 3 in numbers. Maybe it doesn't matter that much because Ashton Jeanty should run away with this award. Should. Mm-hmm. I think he will.
Yeah, I think he will too.
I actually think, too, he should win the Heisman this year. There was a long time where I was in the Travis Hunter category, but Jeanty's season is one of the best we've ever seen, especially in today's world of college football.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.